Welcome to workout number 22. Today's workout is going to be a lower body focused workout. The first exercise that we have is going to be squats. And so you're going to have the feet be a distance that feels comfortable for you. Usually hip distance, maybe a little bit wider if we're in pregnancy. We're going to inhale to lower the hips down, and we really want to focus on maintaining a fairly neutral spine position. So if you go too deep and you start rounding in your back, it may be a little bit too deep for you, and we want to do a little bit higher. So the level of depth is not as important as maintaining a good spine position. So inhales to lower down, and then we're gonna exhale, lift up in the pelvic floor to come on up. If just doing an air squat is too much, we can do a box squat variation where you can lower down to a surface such as a chair or a box. When we do the box squat, as you lower down, we're gonna sit down on the box, maintain this forward lean, and then exhale to come on up. So we're not just gonna sit down on the box and hang out, we're gonna maintain this position. When we sit down on the box, sometimes it causes the pelvis to tuck underneath, and so we wanna maintain this forward leaning position. For the squats, you can also hold on to weights if you like, or you can just do a body weight, which is totally fine. The next move that we have is gonna be the crossover step up. So you're gonna cross the leg over in front of your body, step up. If you wanna add balance, this is just gonna make the stability a little bit harder, and then you'll swing the outside leg behind you, step down, and then you can bring the leg back in front of you. If you find that moving the feet a lot is causing some pain, you'll just keep this foot on top of the box the whole time. So you'll lower down and then step up, and then you'll just lower down and then step up. If you're finding that this is too easy, you can hold on to weight, or you can bring the foot down onto the floor each time. The last movement that we have is gonna be the all fours pelvic tilt, but we're gonna do it with a hip shift, which is gonna bring the pelvis into a little bit of an asymmetric position. So you're gonna put one knee on top of a yoga block, and then you're gonna shift your weight towards that leg. And this is gonna bring this hip into more internal rotation, and this outside hip is gonna be more externally rotated. So it's gonna bring some asymmetry to the pelvis. And then you're gonna round the back up towards the ceiling, and you're gonna feel it a lot more to the elevated hip side, and then drop the belly down to the floor, and you'll feel it more on the belly towards the outside hip side. So you're just gonna do these pelvic tilts. We'll do 30 seconds per side of these. So for today's workout, we have 3 rounds, 30 seconds each of the squat. You can do whichever variation works best for you, either an air squat, box squat. You can also hold on to weight. We'll do 30 seconds per side of the crossover step up, and then 30 seconds per side of the all fours pelvic tilt with hip shift. So starting round number 1 with the squat, doing whichever variation feels best for you. And then inhale to lower down to your level of depth that feels comfortable for you. Exhale, feel that pelvic floor lift up as you come up from the bottom of the squat. So again, we're lowering down, maintaining this good spine position, and then exhaling to come on up. If you're finding that you're rounding in the back, you're like excessively arching in the back, just decrease the level of depth or come to a box squat. We wanna make sure that we're maintaining a good spine position, especially during pregnancy and the early postpartum period, where this is gonna help protect our core that's maybe on the weakened side. Moving on to our step up. So you're gonna stand sideways to your elevated surface like a box or a stool. Outside foot is gonna step up onto the box, and then exhale to lift on up, drive the opposite knee up, and then lower back down. And again, if you wanna make this a little bit easier stability-wise, don't drive the knee up and then keep that foot on top of the box. If you wanna make it a little bit harder, add the knee drive and then bring both feet down onto the floor. So find the variation that feels best for you. I usually find that the crossover step up helps with any sort of pelvic girdle pain because it's forcing the hips into internal rotation, which really helps with pelvic stability. So go ahead and switch to the opposite side of the box. If you're using a stool or something that only has one side, you'll just turn around and face in the opposite direction. So that outside foot is gonna step up onto the box, exhale to come on up, add a knee drive if you'd like, and then lower back down with control. So really put weight into the foot that's on the box, keeping weight in that foot as you lower down. So we want like a slow descent, or just fling yourself up and down. The slower we do movements, the more we're gonna feel them within our glutes, within our bodies. So put weight into that foot, drive the knee up, and then lower down with control. So exhale to come on up, feel that pelvic floor lift up and in. Inhale to lower down. Moving on to our yoga block for our pelvic tilt. So bringing one knee onto the block, and then we're gonna shift the weight towards that hip. So you're gonna feel a little bit more in that back glute. Drop the belly down to the floor. You're gonna feel it to the down knee belly side, and then round in the back to feel more of a posterior pelvic tilt and stretch in that low back on the elevated hip. drop the belly to the floor, and then round in the back. And spend as much time as you want in each position. So during pregnancy, you may find that finding this more rounded position is stretching more of that low back and feels really good for you. Or you may find that bringing the belly to the floor feels better for you. So spend time in the side that feels a little bit more. So switching to the opposite side, so just bring that block to the other knee. You're gonna shift the weight to the hip that's on the block, and then we're gonna drop the belly down to the floor, feel a stretch more in that lower hip abdomen, and then round in the back to feel more of a stretch in the elevated hip, low back. And again, spending time in either end range that feels good for you. As you go, move the head as well. So when you round in the back, lower the head to the floor. When you arch in the back, look forward with your face. But yes. So rounding in the back and then dropping the belly down to the floor. And again, this is bringing the hips into asymmetry, which is gonna help to release some tension. Moving into round number 2, back to our squats, choosing the variation that feels best for you. So either our air squats, our box squats, you can hold on to weight if you like. You can hold on to your child. Inhales to lower down, find the level of depth that feels good for you. Exhale, lift up in that pelvic floor to come on up. So feet are gonna be at least hip distance apart, maybe a little bit wider during pregnancy. So we do wanna make space for the belly. At the bottom, if you feel like your belly is like really pushing against your thighs, just widening in the stance a little bit more is gonna feel really comfortable. So inhale, slower down. Exhales to come on up. If you're doing a box squat, we're just tapping and then coming back up. We're not fully sitting down at the bottom. It's only 30 seconds. So moving on to our step ups now. So stand sideways to the box. That outside foot is gonna step up on top of the box. And then we're gonna put weight into that foot. Exhale, come on up. And then inhale to lower down with control. Really focusing on keeping weight in the foot that's on top of the box. So you might find some wiggling happening in the foot, really focusing on maintaining the 4 points of contact of the foot. Big toe mound, peaky toe side in the middle of the heel is gonna help you maintain that stability. So put weight into that foot, exhale, come on up, inhale to lower down, and then pay attention if there's a side of your foot that you tend to favor. So maybe you really favor the outside edge or maybe you favor the inside edge. Switching sides. So step onto the other side of that box. Outside foot is gonna cross over to step onto the box, and then exhale to come on up, inhale to lower down. So again, keeping weight in the foot that's on top of the box as you lift yourself up and as you lower down. The more you kind of push off from the foot on the floor and the more you kind of drop down, the easier it's gonna be. The more you really focus on keeping weight in the foot on the box, the harder this is gonna be. And again, pay attention. Are you putting way more weight to the peaky toe side of your foot? Are you putting way more weight to the inside of the foot? And try to have it be even distribution throughout. Moving on to the all fours pelvic tilt. So placing that yoga block underneath one knee, we're gonna drop the belly to the floor and then round in the back, finding a level of depth that feels good for you. So begin to round through the back, feeling a stretch in that low back area, and then drop the belly to the floor, feeling it more in the lower abdomen. And again, finding the level of depth that feels good for you. Really shift the weight towards that yoga block side, and it's gonna bring that pelvis into more asymmetry, which is gonna let us target one side a little bit more than the other. So big inhale to feel expansion, exhale to drop the belly to the floor, and you can also do a full breath at each end point. Go ahead and switch to the other side. So bringing that block underneath the knee, shift the weight towards that yoga block side, and then we're gonna round in the back and then drop the belly to the floor. So rounding in the back, feeling it more in that low back area of the elevated hip, and then drop the belly to the floor, feeling it more in the abdomen and the belly. And you're gonna feel it more towards one side versus the other, which again is gonna let us target it a little bit more than if we had an even hip position. During pregnancy, we tend to favor a more extended position, so you may find that these rounded positions feel like there's a lot of stretching happening, so spend a little bit more time there. Moving into our final round, back to our squats, doing the same variation that you've been doing in previous rounds, or maybe we advance it. Maybe you use weight this round. If you're doing a box squat, maybe you do it without. So we're gonna inhale to lower down, and then exhale to come on up. Inhale, lower down, exhale to come on up. If you're holding onto a weight, ensure that we have tension in the upper back so we're not just slumping over our weight, we're maintaining a strong position with it. So inhales to lower, exhale, lift up in the pelvic floor as we come on up. Coordinating our breath to movement is really gonna protect the pelvic floor during pregnancy and into the postpartum period. Moving on to our step up. So outside foot is gonna step up onto the box. And then we're going to exhale to come on up. Inhales are lowering down. So exhale, drive that knee up towards the ceiling, and then inhales to lower down. So coordinating breath to movement is gonna help with our pressure management. So managing the amount of pressure that we have within our abdominal cavity. So too much pressure can cause pelvic floor issues like increased prolapse symptoms. It can cause like hernias and like cause diastasis to linger longer. And so coordinating our breath to movement is how we can better manage pressure within this abdominal cavity to help support healing our pelvic floor and to protect both our core and our pelvic floor. So switching to the opposite side. So outside foot is gonna step up on top of that box, and then we're gonna put weight into that foot, exhale to come on up, drive the knee up towards the ceiling, and then inhale to lower down with control. So typically we wanna exhale with exertion or the hard part of the movement. So whichever part of the movement is moving against resistance or against gravity, so typically going up or pulling or rowing towards ourselves, we wanna exhale because this is gonna use muscular force to help counter an increase in pressure. And then we wanna inhale with gravity or with the stretching portion of the movement because this is gonna help stabilize the spine a lot better against gravity. So moving on to an all fours position, this is the final movement of this workout. So shifting the hips towards the elevated side is gonna bring the pelvis into some asymmetry, and then lower the belly to the floor, and then arch the back towards the ceiling. So again, during pregnancy, we tend to favor more extension, and so these rounded positions may feel really good for you and really help with your postural tendency. So spend a little bit more time here. Think inhale to really expand in that back, and then exhale, drop the belly to the floor. So inhale, round in the back, maybe do a full cycle of breath here, where we exhale to release. And then switching to the opposite side. So bringing that block underneath the opposite knee, and then we're gonna think, shift the weight towards that hip. You're gonna feel it more in that back glute pocket. Drop the belly to the floor and then round through the back. And again, spend a little bit more time in the rounded position. This is great both for pregnancy and for postpartum. Again, a lot of us spend a lot of time here. During pregnancy, we have a lot more weight on the front. And in the postpartum period, we're holding onto our babies and we're kind of doing the same thing where we're arching a little bit more in our backs. So finding back expansion can really help with pelvic floor tension because usually our lats are really tight, pulling our pelvis upwards, which can tighten the back half of the pelvic floor. So that concludes workout number 22. Today was a lower body strengthening workout. We did squats, step ups, and then some pelvic tilts to help kind of bring some mobility within the pelvis. If you like this workout, check out our prenatal and postnatal fitness programs. We offer them all online. Some of them are offered in the Team Builder app, which is gonna be a list of exercises with short demo videos. And then the other version is gonna be our on-demand videos. So this is gonna be full-length workout videos similar to this. We have them both for pregnancy and for the postpartum period. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. It helps our channel grow so we can continue to give you free content like this.